When did the department first learn that the ISIS brides had in fact returned to Australia?
Senator, I would need to take that on notice to confirm.
Can you tell me whether or not it was before or after Carly Douglas from the Herald Sun broke the story on Friday afternoon last week?
Again, I'll take on notice to confirm what the department knew and when.
How about your own personal state of knowledge? Did you know prior to the publication of that article that they'd returned to Australia?
Senator, I think as I said earlier today, we obviously have regular discussions with our counterpart national security agencies, and so my preference would be to take that on notice to check exactly when.
But presumably when that article was published, you either would have been surprised to learn this new piece of information, or you would have not been surprised because you'd already been notified by other means. Do you recall whether or not the article came as a surprise or whether you were already familiar with the information?
Well, Senator, can I... Ms Moroney's already asked to take it on notice to get a bit more clarity, and she's entitled to do that. But can I just make this observation, which I think I've made before? This is the fact that individuals have been seeking to return to Australia for some time is both public knowledge and has been known to the government for some time. So,
and that's not my question.
But my point is, it's not. These are not. This has been something in the public arena and of which the government has been aware for some time, that there are individuals in the Syrian IDP camps, or formerly in the Syrian IDP camps, who have been seeking to return to Australia. Agencies have been monitoring them for some time and are aware of, where there are persons of interest, as I've said, they're aware of them.
Thank you, but that's a different question, because obviously once they arrive back into Australia, several implications flow from that about monitoring and whether they can be charged and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Simply knowing that people may wish to return to Australia and having actually returned to Australia are very different.
I think I used a very specific form of words deliberately, which is agencies have been monitoring these individuals for some time.
Thank you, and we'll have questions for the agencies, but right now my questions are for PM&C.
And I'm saying she's taken it on notice.
Thank you, I hear you, but I'm going to continue to persist with this because I think it's important to know whether or not PM&C found out that these people were back into Australia from media reports or whether they found out from other means. So if you can't tell me when you found out, can you tell me how you found out?
Senator, in regards to how we found out, I would also take that on notice to confirm the details.
Can you, at a very high level, just tell me, was it through official channels or was it through media reporting or some other means?
Senator, I would refer to my previous evidence in that I'll take it on notice to confirm when we found out and how.
Okay, I appreciate that on behalf of the department, but how about your own personal knowledge, given your direct responsibilities? Can you tell me whether it was through official channels, for example, ASIO, Border Force, the AFP, the Department of Home Affairs, any other government body, or was it through non-official, like a media report or some other means of finding out?
Senator, as I have previously said, we have a number of conversations with many different agencies, and so I would prefer to take it on notice just to check the detail and make sure that we are providing accurate information.
You don't remember whether it was through an official or non-official channel? That's a pretty broad distinction. I'm not asking for the line officer and their name. I'm asking, was it an official notification of some form or was it an informal or non-official notification?
Senator Patterson, the witness has agreed to take the question on notice. Her answer will be what her answer will be. You can keep asking your questions.
Thank you.
But the witness will give you the answer that she sees as the appropriate, responsible answer for her position in this context, and that is the answer.
Thanks, Chair. That was a completely unhelpful and unnecessary intervention, but thank you.
It's my pleasure, Senator Patterson, my pleasure.
I'm not being rude, I'm being factual. That was not helpful.
No, it was rude. It was rude, Senator Patterson.
Thank you. I don't need any assistance in asking questions. Very kind of you to offer, Chair, but You can ask your questions if you have them in. I'll ask mine. Mr. Seidler, can you assist me? Can you tell me whether or not you had any personal knowledge?
No, we have answered. We have answered these questions. They are being taken on notice. I've also actually, if you have listened to my answers, been very clear with you that the government has been aware of people wishing to leave the Syrian IDP camps for some time, and we have been monitoring them. The appropriate place for you to ask questions about details of that, to get the information you require, is Home Affairs. Not having individual officers of a department that is not responsible for this badgered, particularly while you're being rude to the chair, Senator.
Thanks.
So we are not. These questions are now being taken on notice.
Senator
Very clear.
Wong, I will not be taking lectures or advice from you about decorum in these forums.
Goodness
I've
me.
observed you over a very long period of time being incredibly assertive with colleagues on this committee and witnesses. You are literally the last person I'll take advice from on
So,
that question.
Senator Patterson,
Why are you getting
I would just
personal?
call...
Why are you getting personal? You don't need to get personal.
After you just...
We are not getting. We're talking about the fact that I'm not going to have you badgering individual officers. I don't think that's fair. Now, you may disagree with me. That's fine. That is the position. We're taking these questions on notice. You can come to Home Affairs. I understand you're the acting Home Affairs shadow. Well, you've got plenty of opportunity to ask them the questions that are actually their responsibility.
Well, they won't be able to tell me when PM&C was notified because that's not their job. And so,
So,
these questions...
Senator Patterson, PM&C have told you what they are going to tell
So
you. They
that's
have
it.
taken a range of things on
To
notice.
be rude and then keep going.
And you are being rude, and it is unnecessary.
You don't need to be like that. Is this some sort of I'm tougher than Michaelia thing or something?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Minister. The reason why I ask these questions is because they were put to the Secretary of the Attorney General's Department, and the Secretary was more helpful than anyone in this committee has been. The Secretary of the Department of Attorney General said, and I quote, based on a caption, I became aware with the media on the matter. I wasn't aware of the movement of those people prior to that. I think it is in the public interest to know whether or not PM&C was also notified via the media or whether they knew through other means.
No, we will provide answers on notice, Senator Patterson, as previously indicated.
Okay. Am I right in understanding that PM&C is responsible for Commonwealth-State relations?
So, Senator, PM&C is responsible for assisting the Prime Minister with the National Cabinet.
I think there's a division or a unit, or you correct me on the terminology, there's a person whose title is Commonwealth-State relations
So we can bring those officers to
under
the table, Senator.
intergovernmental relations and reform. Did anyone at PM&C have any conversations with any state governments about the return of the ISIS riders?
So, Senator, do you mind just asking that question
Not
again,
at
just to
all.
make sure that we've got the right officers
you.
at the table?
Did anyone at PM&C have any conversations with any state governments about the return of ISIS brides?
So I think that is Miss Moroney, rather than our Comstate people.
So, Senator, again, just because your question is in relation to the department holistically, I think I'd prefer to take that on notice to double check.
Thank you. And were you or any of your team, or do you have any personal knowledge of any conversations with any state governments about the return of the ISIS brides?
That they have undertaken. I mean, the problem is, again, and I know you're getting all irritated when I point this out, these are not the officials who are responsible for that coordination in the national security area. All right, so it's, you're making all sorts of imputations and assertions about people's motivation. They are not the officials responsible for that. There is and I think you would know this from your work as the shadow. There is I think a very well-structured, practiced, set way in which the Commonwealth and state and territory agencies, security agencies, interact around a range of security threats, which that is not the responsibility of the department.
Okay, so is it your evidence then, Senator Wong, that no one in PM&C had any conversations with any state governments about the return of the ISIS
No, it's my
brides?
evidence that you're asking questions in the wrong committee. That's my evidence. So
well-
you can try and make a whole range of political points, Senator Patterson. That's part of what happens when you're over there. I understand that. I'm realistic about it. But my evidence is, and my answer is you are asking the wrong officials the questions that you want answered.
Well, I may or may not be. If the answer is no, PM&C did not have any role coordinating with state governments about this matter, I'll accept that answer. But the answer may be, yes, in fact, there was a conversation with the Victorian Department of Premier and Cabinet or some other department or agency. So it would be really helpful just to know, did PM&C play any role in liaising with any state government on this matter?
Senator, I would just add that national security coordination is a matter for Home Affairs, and so would refer the questions on any discussions with state and territory partners to Home Affairs.
Okay, so am I to understand from that answer that that means PM&C played no role in coordinating with state governments on this matter? That's all I'm trying to find out.
To understand from the answer what the answer said, full stop.
Well, I'm seeking clarity because it's not clear to me from the answer.
Follow-up can be a follow-up. I'm going back to the primary answer. That's the department's answer.
Right, so how are Australians to know whether or not this department had any role in liaising with state governments?
Well, Australians are entitled to know and should know from what they have seen that whether it is through Operation Avalite and the coordination between state, territory or state and federal agencies there or many other matters, that there is a sound practice system of coordination on national security matters between the Commonwealth and the states, and I'm telling you, as the officer has, that is led by Home Affairs for the Commonwealth. So if you're actually interested in how people work together to keep Australians safe, I'd recommend that you go to Home Affairs and ask those questions.
Okay. Did the Prime Minister have any conversations with any of his state counterparts? Did he speak to the Premier of Victoria, for example, or the Premier of New South Wales?
I will take that on notice.
So you don't know whether the Prime Minister has been engaged on this? Does the department have any knowledge? Did you set up any phone calls for the PM with any of his counterparts?
I've taken the question on notice.
And that's why I've directed a different question to the department.
No, you're just trying to get another answer. But
any answer would be good. One answer I would take.
Well, Senator, no, I've given you many answers. They're just many answers that you
no
don't...
relationship to the questions.
Well, if I may finish, I'm giving you many answers. We spent hours on this with the same answers because you're having the same questions. Again, say to you, you're not asking the right questions, the questions in the right committee.
Well, actually, Senator Wong, no matter what question we ask on this, we get the same answer.
Okay. Because you are asking questions which are not the responsibility of this portfolio or these officers. Like it is. Well, okay. If you want to ignore the Westminster system of government and how government is managed, so be it.
So, I mean,
I can't help you.
This could be...
Senator Patterson, you have got enough time for one more question.
There you go.
Thank you.
I can give you the AAOs after this.
Thank you.
You can read the administrative orders and understand how Westminster government works.
So, I mean, what I have taken from this evidence this afternoon...
Now we're having a speech.
Summary.
This is not a question, this is a speech.
Can I just observe...
What I will take with the hand...
This is just a performance.
Have you got a camera that he's
Chair,
looking at too, like he does in the chamber?
When I've interrupted
Yes.
Senator Wong.
Sorry,
Senator Wong has
true.
objected when I've interrupted her.
That's fair enough.
I reckon you're both having a good crack.
Exactly.
Fair
So
enough.
let's not be hypocritical about this. What I have taken from this evidence is that neither you, Senator Wong, nor the department is able to tell us anything, and may in fact know nothing about the return of people who joined a listed terrorist organisation involved in some of the most reprehensible crimes we have witnessed in decades. You can't tell us when they came home. You can't tell us where they are. You can't tell us how they're being monitored. You can't tell us who's monitoring them. You can't tell us if they'll be charged. You can't tell us if they've committed any offences. If you can't answer, if the Prime Minister's department can't answer the most basic factual questions about an important matter of public safety and national security, how can Australians have confidence in this government that you will keep them safe?
Our first priority is to keep Australians safe. As I said to you right at the outset, but that didn't prevent the flourish lecture at the end, agencies have been aware of the individuals in the Syrian IDP camps. We are aware of those who seek to return home. As I said, we are working to keep the community safe. Any threats to national security and the security of Australians are monitored. And unlike you, Senator, perhaps, I do have confidence in our national security agencies. If you were, I think, had more faith and understanding in their work, you might actually go and ask them rather than make political points in here as you just have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Minister. We'll now